Hi, and welcome to this session on budgeting and money management presented to you by Reach for Resources. I'm Emily Orr, and I'm the Director of Adaptive Recreation at Reach here. We provide services to people in community living, housing, employment, and mental health services, as well as case management and adaptive recreation and inclusion. So we have a lot of different departments, and we serve people in the Twin Cities area. Today, I'm talking to you a little bit about budgeting and money management and just kind of going over the basics with you. So first, in these types of sessions, I like to talk to a live audience, but today we're just doing a recording. So just think about this for a second with where are you at with budgeting? Do you already have a budget set up? What do you normally do with your money? Do you spend it or do you save it? How comfortable do you feel with managing your expenses? Maybe you've already set up a budget and you're not doing great at following it, so that's something that you want to learn about today. Maybe you're brand new to this budgeting thing. I think it's always something that people can get better at, so we all come to it from different places. But every time you spend your money, you're faced with a decision. Is what you're buying worth the cost? Making the right decisions with money can sometimes be difficult. It's a lot easier to spend your money than it is to save it. One way to help us spend our money wisely is by using a budget. When we're budgeting, we always have to consider our wants versus our needs. So our needs are our items for survival. Healthy food, shelter, so rent or wherever you're living, your housing, water, clothing, hygiene, and wants are everything else. So technology, not so healthy food like soda or cake, lots of examples in both. Needs definitely need some clothes. Wants, maybe you want some more expensive clothes than the basic clothes that you could get. So always can consider wants versus needs when you're thinking about budgeting. Here's some other examples. Is a red box a want or a need? Probably a want. How about some soap? I would say it's needed for hygiene purposes. Housing, definitely necessary for safety. Chocolate cake, desirable, but not necessary. So we'll just say it's a want. A phone is also a want, although, you know, there's more affordable options out there. So if you feel like you need a phone for safety, you can always choose a lower end phone that maybe wouldn't cost you so much, or a pay-as-you-go plan. Clothing, necessary. Water, it's a need. Gatorade, it's just a want. You can always have water. Usually it's free or included with your rent. And healthy food, that would be a need. So what is a budget? A budget is a plan on how you'll spend your money. You keep track of the money that you earn and the things you want to buy. Then you can plan for what you are able to buy based on how much money you will earn. So it's really a tool that helps you to spend your money and save what you need to save in order to pay all of your bills and see how much you have left to do the things you want to do. Introducing another term here. What is debt? If you don't know, debt is an amount of money that's borrowed from one party to another. It can be used by many corporations or individuals that are making larger purchases than they weren't be able to afford under normal circumstances. A debt arrangement gives the borrowing party permission to borrow money under the condition that is to be paid back at a later date, usually with interest. Some examples you might know are credit card debt. If you take out a credit card and you're purchasing things without making payments on it, you'll be accruing interest and putting yourself into debt. buying a home, getting a home loan or student loans. Those are big purchases that people don't often have all the money for up front, and so they're paying it off over time. So why is a budget important? Well, it helps us to save money and stay out of debt and afford the things you value in life. That's always one lesson I like to go over in these trainings about budgeting is budgeting really helps you see how you're spending your money and seeing if it aligns with your values. Budgets tend to get a little bit more complicated when you move out of the house and you're living more independently. You have housing, utility bills to pay. You have to pay for trash, water, internet. If you have a TV service or any subscription service, you have to pay taxes. If you have any pets, those pets get expensive. Sometimes you have to pay a separate rent for pets in apartments. It's called a pet rent, and that's a monthly fee just to have a pet in your apartment, along with probably a larger down payment or a damage deposit. Pets also require food and vaccinations. So they have definitely fees that come with them on a monthly and an annual basis as well. If they ever get sick, there's vet bills. You have to bring them in, get them checked out, things like that. So things, there tend to be more expenses as you move out and become more independent. But we can learn how to spend wisely. A budget can help you keep track of your money so that you're spending it wisely. It can help you stay out of debt and help you buy those special things that you really want, rather than wasting your money on spur of the moment spending. Here are some fun facts about budgeting. Having a budget can help you reduce your stress. A poll from 2013 showed that only around 1/3 of US families have a budget set up. There are computer programs that can help you set up a budget. And having a budget can get the whole family working together on the same plan. So if you have a family, or you can work on it with your roommates as well. How do we set up a budget? We'll go through each of these steps in more detail. Number 1 is to add up your income. 2 is to estimate your expenses. 3 is figure out the difference. And number 4 is to track it. So here's step 1, adding up your income. Your total monthly income is the income from your job or your other resources, including Social Security benefits, MSA, MFIP, SNAP, GA, and more. Above is an example of somebody's monthly income. So for part-time work, they make $400 a month. For Social Security, they get $250 a month. MSA is $80 and SNAP is $20. So everyone's is going to look different. This is just one example for us to work off of. If you have other income that's reliable that you tend to get every single month, you should include it in here. Number 2 is to estimate your expenses. So there are some fixed expenses and flexible expenses. And fixed expenses are expenses that stay the same from month to month. So your rent should be a fixed expense and stay the same from month to month. Flexible expenses are expenses that change from month to month. A flexible expense is how much you spend on groceries in a 1-month period. It might be similar, but it also probably varies a little bit, whereas your rent should be the same from month to month, although it probably increases every year. Even your utility bills can be flexible, such as your gas or electricity. In the summer, we tend to use more electricity with air conditioning, and in the winter, we tend to use more gas because of heating homes. Depends on how your home is heated, but those are 2 things that can be flexible, you're also able to set those bills up on a more fixed price setting as well. So if that helps you budget, you can ask your utility company how to do that. A cable bill or an internet bill is probably a fixed expense. Your total expenses are the combined amount of your fixed and flexible expenses. So here are some more examples of fixed and flexible costs. So we have fixed costs are rent, some utilities, and your cell phone bill. Some flexible are groceries, personal items. So for personal items, you could think about things such as shampoo, deodorant, hygiene products, anything you need under that category. Clothing. You don't need to buy clothing every month, but you do need to replace things as they go out. Sometimes your winter boots get a hole in them and you have to replace them. So it's good to have some money in your budget for that. And fun activities. This person estimates about $100 a month on fun activities. Next, we have to figure out the difference. So here I usually use an Excel spreadsheet. I know there are other computer programs out there. I'm sure if you just Google budgeting tools, you'll find a million things that can help you with this. So first you're putting in your income, which was step 1. And then step 2, your expenses. So in this example, you have $750 to start. And then you have 300 plus 360, so that would be 660. So you'd have $100. Oh, sorry. I'm thinking through this. It looks like my math in this typed area is wrong, but you'd take your 750 minus 660, and then you'd have $90 left over. If you do these steps and you don't have enough income to cover your expenses, we need to talk about where you can cut back, and you really do need to stick to it. Otherwise, you're just going to put yourself into debt. So this person has $90 a month left over from their budget. What are they going to do with their leftover? Probably put it into a savings account. Maybe they have some other expenses that they haven't tracked that they'll figure out after they start tracking that these things didn't line up exactly how they thought they would. That happens a lot. And one thing I don't see on here that's a pretty big expense for some people is your transit and transportation. So if you have like a monthly fee for a bus pass, or if you have a car and a car payment and gas and insurance, those things really add up as well. So it's possible that they'll figure out that they have more additional expenses, or they'll figure out they have $90 a month left over of wiggle room, and anything that they don't spend, they can put in a savings account. Step 4, a very important step, is to start tracking your budget. So creating the budget is just the first step. Then you need to start keeping track of your monthly income and expenses to make sure you're sticking to your budget. It can definitely take time to find the balance that works for you. I know when I've created budgets in the past, it takes a little bit of finagling to figure out how much I actually spend compared to what I thought I spent, and then you got to keep adjusting it so that it's a realistic, sustainable plan for you. And your budgets do evolve with changes in life. So let's say you did get a pet, your budget's going to change. You're going to have to go back and look at it and add your new expenses. If you changed apartments or living situations, that will definitely adjust. Or if you've got a roommate, that could adjust it as well. So when big things happen like that, you can go back to your budget and change it. It's definitely not a one and done type of thing. So how to save money? This is something I think that's really hard for a lot of people. But what do you do with your excess budget each month? When you get money as a gift, what do you do with it? And you really have two choices for both of these. You can save it or you can spend it. Spending your money on something right away might seem like the most fun thing to do, but saving your money can be fun as well. So let's talk about what why we would save our money, and how we can make that fun. So you can get something bigger by saving your money up over time. You can build up your savings. When you save up, you can buy bigger purchases like a bicycle, new video game console, some furniture, or a vacation. It's really nice to have some cash on hand for when something you really want to do comes up. For example, if all your friends are going to see a movie. Or like I mentioned in the previous slide, maybe it's not as fun, but what if your winter boots all of a sudden need to be replaced? It's nice to have a little bit extra put away so that you're not struggling to figure out how you would get yourself those new boots that you need, or to do a fun activity that you really want to do. Emergencies. Sometimes emergencies happen. For example, you lost your cell phone and now you need to get a new one, or you dropped it and it broke. That's a pretty big expense. So what are some other reasons why you should save your money? I'll let you ponder that. So where are you putting your money when you're saving it? Are you using a piggy bank or a real bank? Well, you could just put it somewhere safe in your house, like a piggy bank, your wallet, or with your parents. However, you might want to put some money in the bank. I know if the money is in my wallet, it'll probably get spent. So I like to put it in a different bank account somewhere else that's not even associated with my checking account, so that it's harder for me to get to, but I can get to it if I need it for something. Also, just a note that ABLE savings accounts are special bank accounts for individuals with disabilities where the funds don't count towards assets. They don't count as assets or as resources for the purpose of SSI disability benefits or Medicaid. So if you don't have an ABLE savings account and you think you'd be eligible for one, I highly recommend that you look into that option. I would just talk to your bank about setting that up and how you're able to do that. Finally, we're going to talk for a few minutes about aligning your extra spending with your values and goals. So it really feels the best when your money, the way you spend your money, aligns with your values. Think about what's really important to you in life. If it's having a pet, great. Then maybe that extra money spent on a pet is going to bring you lots of joy and be totally worth it. Maybe being in a location, so thinking about choosing an apartment. Okay, so the location costs a lot of money depending on where you are. So maybe it's really important for you to be downtown so you can walk everywhere, or maybe it's important for you, more important for you to have a nicer apartment. So you might want to choose something that's further away from downtown and might be a little bigger or more updated. So just thinking about, you know, if nicer clothes is one of your values, then you might want to put that into your budget and have your spending reflect that. If time with your friends is one of your values, you want to have your spending reflect that as well. What about exercise? Think about how you're able to do that and what kind of resources you need to do that as well, if that's one of your values. So you can always just think about that, and hopefully when you're looking at how you spend your money, you feel okay about where your money is going. So just to wrap up today, I just want you to think about these things since this is a video. Think about what is one thing you learned today that you want to try to apply. And I want you to also identify your own bad money attitudes and habits. We all have them, and being aware of them is just the first step. But hopefully becoming aware of your own bad money attitudes and habits can help you overcome them and get better at how you manage money. It's something that a lot of us are continually working towards, and something that we'll keep working towards into our life as we're planning for, you know, later in life as well. So thank you so much for joining me today and learning a little bit about budgeting and money management. Let's see. We're going to wrap it up here. Reach is just starting an online catalog of some other independent learning classes that'll be available online as a resource. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact us at Reach. Thank you very much. Have a great day.